as I already told that finally is a try and catch is a keyword in exception handling, which is like either executed try block or executed catch block. Finally is always be executed. Only the two cases where finally is not executed, either called the system.exit or there is only two ways, two things where finally cannot be executed is either GVM presses or system.exit called before finally in either try or catch block. So in these two cases, finally cannot executed. Otherwise, in every time, finally always be executed. Either execution is in try block or catch block. So if we this is the error because I use a small. So this is naming convention in Java. So class name should always be in capital. First letter should always be capital. So that's a error. Let's try. This is our main method. In this we try to use finally keyword. So let's if we have int a, then a have some values like 18, and we trying to divide it. Let's try. A is divided by is equal to a is divided by g. Then I know that we know that it generate exception. So after this it will goes into catch block. So let's and next we use finally keyword. Now let's run this. So we can see that it is giving java.lang.arithmetic exception because can't be divided by 0. So it goes to exception block, but you can see here that a finally executed is also there. So let's change the value of 0 and it should be 3. Now we can see that it executed try block. So let's run it and say that like oh, how we can know that it ran. So let's add printf and in the interface let's see. Oh, we can say that it says try executed and finally executed. If we again it's changed to 0, then at that point it generate exception. It says can't divide by 0 and cache executed finally executed. So you can see here that finally is executed every time. Why? Because finally either execute try block or catch block, it always execute finally. Now question is that when we use finally, so finally is generally used for resource closing, like finally is generally used for resources closing. Resources closing is like close the file, close file, and close this classes like a scanner class. So in many times if we open the resource file in above and there is exception occurs, then it break down and the file is remains open. So in that case we use finally. Finally is only used for closing the resources, nothing else. Next coming in finalize keyword. uh, I think this is new for many of the beginners because at the starting we know about final keyword, but many of you don't know about finalize keyword. So finalize keyword is the part of garbage collector when we clean up a object. Part of garbage collector. When we delete or remove an object from the memory, then before that is called. Now it is after Java 8, it is deprecated. So this is not used now, and it is depend on JVM that either executed method or not, because this is a part of garbage collector. So we cannot directly call the finalize method. It is called through the garbage collector. So let's see the example. This is our main method. So let's create an object of our class. This is the object of our class. Let's when we remove it from memory, delete an object, create a remove from memory. So for cleanup we called garbage collectors finalize method. So it's like ob is equals to null, and now it's like system dot gc. It's a depend on JVM that call the finalize method or not. So let's here override this finalize method. So this is like we create the object of that class. Then after that, we want to destroy that. We want to clean the memory location of that object. So it's assigned to null, and then we call the garbage collectors class objects system.jc. Then it depend on JVM that this method is either executed or not. So we try to run this. So see that finally is called. Then again run. Sometimes it is not called. Here JVM called every time. In some systems are like sometimes it called, sometimes not called. So don't worry, it is dependent on JVM, not your program. This can be called or this cannot be called. This is at now JVM version, JDK version. It is deprecated. It is only below the Java 8. So this is all about uh, finally, and finalize keyword.